Let's rock and roll. Your clickbait. Um,
That'll just be the standard shit.
starting
I
it
gotta
off.
work out more if we do that. I don't feel like I am
What I'll do is
nearly.
I'll add some like animation or
We'll
something.
just Photoshop Ramosie's body over
Oh my
mine.
gosh. Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse. This is Gabe. We are the owners of Super Sun Electrical Services, and we are in our first 2 years of business. And this podcast, comma video, or however you're consuming this content, is our journey of building an electrical company and the lessons we've learned along the way, and hopefully some insight that helps you guys figure some shit out. We're figuring shit out as we speak, so
Yeah,
it's an adventure.
absolutely. This week we're going over week 3 of sales and really learning how to read people and interact with the different personality types effectively so that you can sell what they need to them and communicate to them why that's important.
It's interesting that you use the word communicate because I think it does come down to that. If you're using like the disc profile or the colors or whatever other personality
Yeah.
test you're using, it really comes down to how does that person want to be communicated with.
Yeah, and I think that is easily the most important part of sales, right? Sales is just how good of a communicator are you?
Yeah.
Like that's my true belief. If you have to like force your product down somebody's throat, you're a piece of shit, and they don't need it. Uh, we actually just had a phenomenal car buying experience.
Yeah.
So our van just died. We bought a 2010 Ford for like $7,200 a year and a half ago. The thing worked great until it didn't, and
And it didn't
it
on
didn't on
Friday.
Friday. The thing just took a shit, and so we got to look at it and decide whether or not we wanted to spend probably $6,000 to $8,000 to put a new engine in this vehicle, and then we might get another 3 years out of it, or we get 2 more weeks and we just sank $10,000 or $8,000 or whatever the hell it was going to be,
Right.
for nothing. Or we can go buy a new van. We have a lease on it and all of that, or a loan payment on it, but cash flow wise, it makes more sense to get the new one that's more reliable, that is better. Not the point of this one. The point is, the sales guy that we had made the experience so incredibly phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? Mike Catillo?
It was Catala.
Catallo?
Catala?
Yeah, Mike Catallo. But
Good job, Mike.
Yeah, Mike was awesome. Absolutely recommend. If you're in the local like Round Rock area and you need a vehicle, I cannot recommend Mike enough. He was just absolutely stellar to work with. We showed up, told him what we were looking for, and then he was like, "Look, guys, I've got to do a little bit of research to make sure that we can actually get the van that you want. So you go take off for a couple hours, take care of business, and I will get this list ready for you, and then from there we can actually discuss this. I'll have some offers ready."
Yeah.
Which it still ended up being like an 8 hour ordeal because they were super busy and we didn't do any paperwork ahead of time. So it is what it is. But at the end of it, we got exactly the vehicle that we wanted for the price that we wanted. It was great. Again, cannot recommend Mike enough. Phenomenal dude. But he was just really easy to work with, which is the point of sales, is being easy to work with.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is being able to communicate in a way that they are able to understand rather than forcing them to chameleon to you, right? Because you probably are going to be doing 3 to 5 calls a week minimum, probably more like 10 to 12.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to have more experience adapting to different communication styles than they will.
Well, and that's the whole point is like they have a need. You are trying to fill that need. You are trying to get that sale. You're the one who needs to put in the work to communicate the way that the other person needs to communicate.
Yeah. Well, and also think about it. Like, they're most likely stressed out of their mind unless you're showing up. And even if, like, most of the time they're stressed out of their mind, whether they're building a new addition on their house, putting in a pool, adding an EV charger, or my shit's broken, right? Like, they've got a need that they want taken care of. And somebody is going to do that. Keep that in mind. Like, very seldom these projects just go by the wayside and they say, fuck it, I don't need this. Somebody solves that problem. And if you don't believe that you are the best solution for them, stop being in business. Like, genuinely fucking quit now. Because if you do not believe in your heart and soul that you're the best solution for this problem in the world, then what the fuck are you doing?
Well, it goes back to what we talked about last week and
About belief.
confidence and belief
Yeah.
in what you're doing. So, how does personalities come into this?
So the way I see it and the way that I've learned, and I've done a lot of research on this, is there's basically four major types, and I don't give a shit which one of the programs you talk about, DISC or Myers-Briggs or the colors, or my favorite one was the bull, the sheep, the owl, and the tiger, because it's just the you can imagine that better than like DISC, where it's like dominant, insecure, social, and then
whatever it stands for.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it is. I don't remember. But
do a little overview of what are those four different personality types, and then let's dive into like how do you
recognize and communicate. So the bull is exactly what it sounds like, kind of bullheaded. They want to be in charge of the conversation, and you have to allow them that leeway to some extent, but also establish authority. Like establish your expertise, but not necessarily overshadow their authority. So it's a very they're harder to deal with. Luckily, they're only about 5, maybe 10% of the population, but they're harder to deal with. But they usually have money or will bluff that they have money. So if you only plan on working with them once, don't recommend. But if you only plan on working with them once, you can absolutely insult their ego and they will buy.
What do you mean?
So most of these guys, and it's mostly guys who are this way. I've ran into a few women that are, but the majority of the times it's men who are this, usually in like high level managerial positions, CEO, COO, stuff like that. Very high end. They're used to being in charge and getting their way. And they pride themselves on being able to have what they need. And so if you show up and they're like, oh man, that price is too high, and you're like, man, I didn't think this was gonna be a problem for you. Like, I'm looking at you, you're obviously successful. I'm not upcharging you any more than anybody else. This is what everybody pays. Like, it's
a little bit of like
you
should be able to buy from
like
me.
you should be able to afford for me, and like clearly this is a you issue, not a me issue, right? And like they get very defensive with that, and they'll buy almost impulsively to show you that they have money.
So,
but
how do you sell to bulls not that way?
I don't recommend doing that. Really, it's strong communication. So what they want, like they're used to bullying their way into the room, right? So they're used to like role playing esque things, which I think is going to be the best way to represent this. So be hard headed. Okay. Imagine you get to be my dad after somebody like slighted him or he saw a slight and kind of got aggressive. Do you understand what I'm saying there? That would be my best personality trait for that.
I'm really nervous because this is not my personality.
No, it's not. You're just that's the glory of role playing. Just assume the position.
Okay.
So, hi Jesse. I'm Gabe, the Super Sun Electric. I'm here to solve the receptacles out in the back.
Great.
I've done this so many times. I've lost track. It's usually a pretty quick and simple fix.
Awesome.
Hopefully.
Won't be a problem for you to fix then.
Yeah, I should have this all squared away. So, let me take a quick cursory look at it, figure out what's like, at least get an idea what's going on, and then I'll let you know what the price is.
Okay.
To get it squared away. All right, cool. Tinker came back. Hey, so looking at it, there's definitely an issue here. It's looking like we lost our hot somewhere on the circuit, so I'm going to have to go in and basically figure out where that is. So the total cost on that's going to be $787. That's going to cover our basic diagnostics, and then we'll also cover any material cost associated with getting that job taken care of.
I have no idea how to act like a bull.
Yeah, I know. It's completely opposite of you. Most of the time, they're going to start demanding the conversations. They'll be like, "Oh man, like that's way too much money." I had a buddy like 5 years ago who came out and did this for $250, and you're like, well, "No fucking shit, dude." But that was 5 years ago. Prices have gone up significantly, and I am not your buddy. So you don't get like buddy pricing. Which, first of all, buddy pricing is stupid. Don't ever do it. They should pay full price so they can fuck off. That's how this game works. Second of all, they're going to try to command the conversation, and basically they're trying to degrade the value that you have in yourself and make you believe that you're worth less so that they can pay less.
Got it. So
they're going to bully bulls. Yeah, they're going to bully the conversation. It's the same thing that a bull does, right? But it's the taking the bull by the horns, right? Which first of all like works, but also I would not recommend. If a bull's charging at you, you're just generally fucked.
Okay, so then how do you handle that?
The same way you handle a bull, you just don't back down. So in real life, if you just stand up to a bull and like act big and aggressive, most of the time they fuck off. Again, they're a prey animal. They're gonna leave you alone unless they don't, and then you're fucked. So it kind of works the same way where you stand up to that bull and you're like, hey, dude, this is what it's supposed to be. This is the reason it is. We're gonna get this taken care of. I've done this 100 times. I promise you're in the best hands possible.
So don't back down.
You don't back down. This is the price, and honestly, I could do it for more, but you're a cool guy, so we should make this happen, right? You kind of stoke their ego a little bit without budging on price. So you say this is firm, but you're a cool guy, so I'm willing to help you out. Normally, this would cost more. Even it might not, but like you position it that way of like I could have done this for more, but I knew like I'm pretty sure this is going to be a quick, simple thing, and I don't think so that you should pay for a complex diagnostic if it's simple, right? And you tell them like, hey, we do have a level above this. I'm not charging that to you. So you stoke their ego of like you're cool, and then you charge them what you're supposed to.
Okay, bulls. What are the other animals?
So the next one is a sheep. This is one of the more common ones that you're going to see, which they take a lot more gentle touches. You were a lot more sheepish, where you can absolutely just bulldoze them over. Very easy to do. You show up, you're like, hey, dude, you need to buy this. You need a whole new house, basically. They're going to sign whatever the fuck you put in front of them. So you have to do this ethically because you can absolutely sell them a $20,000 job every fucking time. The only difference is that they know other people who are not sheepish, and they will absolutely talk shit behind your back, and they will ruin your fucking business if you just fuck them over.
Because sheep is a part of the herd, so
yes,
a big community.
Exactly, they have the community, and they will fuck your business on the back end. So you'll make $20,000 now, but you will never see another dollar from their community if you fuck them over. And so the point,
and I guess vice versa, if you treat that person right, then you
open up a world of everything. It is phenomenal. And so the point of that is you have to take care of them to a stupidly high extent. And so you show up and you walk them through. You actually like you don't downplay the danger, but they're already like anxious in their head. Oh my god, this is going to burn my house down, right? My outlet's not working. I've got a fire behind my wall. My house is going to burn down. Like that's the thoughts that are going through their mind. So you have to like deregulate.
Would you say you go into it like with kind of a caretaker perspective?
A lot more of that, yeah. And like you want to like downgrade the risk in their mind to reality. Right, so you're not downplaying how risky it is of like if there was an outlet that was burning up in the wall, you're not like, ah man, this happens all the time. It's whatever, don't worry about it.
It's not whatever.
Right, it's not whatever.
Dangerous.
It's dangerous. But they're imagining their entire house was like 5 seconds from burning down. You're like, dude, it was slightly melted in the back. That's why you lost power. It's not terrible. It's just not great. And so you really want to make sure that you bring them back to reality, like bring them back down to earth in that aspect, and then take care of them there. But you have to cater to their emotions in that aspect. You have to make them feel safe and secure, validated on that. And if you can do that appropriately, make them feel safe and secure and communicated to,
and like heard too,
yeah,
like
and befriended. If you can make that happen, they will buy from you every time, and they will preach your praises forever.
Yeah,
right. You will have a customer for life. And so they are arguably, in my opinion, the easiest to sell to. Granted, I'm also married to one, so there's like a certain level of I'm used to his communication style. But arguably, they're easier to sell to if you want a one-off sale. They are harder to keep happy long term because there's that fear and anxiety. So there's a little bit more work that goes into it, right? A bull is probably just going to try to fix it themselves and fuck it up. A sheep is not. We actually have a customer who is sheepish like that, not legitimately, but like personality wise in this realm,
categories.
like where she just wants that peace of mind. And so I've gone out to her house for a couple of things. She's like, hey, the breaker trip. We just did a lot of work at her house. She's like, the breaker trip. I don't know what's going on. And I went back out there and tested the whole breaker and said everything's working fine. It's covered under warranty. Don't worry about it. Right? It was. I think we did almost $20,000 worth of work, or almost $30,000 worth of work at her house. Like phenomenal amount of money. So like I'm happy to do that, and I'm gonna take care of her, and I know that she's talking good about me and sending me to everybody that she knows.
I'm gonna try some technology things because our baby is crying. So I'm gonna try and do a pause, and we're gonna reconvene in just one moment.
And we're back, which you probably didn't even notice that we were gone because it's gonna ideally have paused. But parenting and running a business and podcasting,
woo!
All the things.
Okay, back to it. So sheeps. We had a very successful sheep relationship with one of our clients. Very different approach than the bull.
100%. It is polar opposites. You cannot handle them the same way. And if you try to handle a bull like a sheep, you are going to do the job for free, or they will not buy at all. Like they will just tell you to kick rocks, get fucked, and get out of my house. Like it very much so taints the relationship. It's terrible. Versus like opposite way, the sheep will still buy from you.
And then you will get. I would cry about it.
Yes, like legitimately, they will cry. They will shit talk you. Everything will be terrible and horrible. Like, do not go that route. You need to be able to assess that and handle it correctly. The next one's going to be the owl, which is tricky because they present more sheepish, where they're like reserved, and usually they're like
mistook for that kind of fear and anxiety behind a sheep.
Yeah, and normally they will just kind of like sit there and they'll kind of ask you some questions and be like, "Oh, hey, like, how does this operate? How does that operate?" And they're testing you because they have done
their research,
all of the research, and they may know more about this subject than you do. Like, which I know sounds crazy. And they hire you because you're the professional, but they want to feel validated in their research. They are incredibly smart. This is most of your engineers, like architects, most of the college graduates, doctors, shit like that. Doctors
like
are
people?
Yeah, analytics. Doctors are usually more bullish than, but like very analytical people who like you can tell they're reserved. They're usually in a quieter house. They have classical music on. Like everything's clean and tidy. It's put together. They have their office, but like you walk in, the house is either silent or has classical music on. Those are the two big cues that I've seen.
Or an owl.
Yeah, and when they do that, they are going to ask you questions on what it is. They're like, "Hey, how does this outlet differ than this outlet, or how is this panel different than this panel? What's the safety risks associated with this panel?"
Well, and I would think that the way to approach an owl is by letting your technical knowledge really spill out.
Yes, which is the reaction that most people go to. However, if you do that too much, it's incorrect because you'll make them feel inferior with their research.
Oh, and the whole point is to make them feel smart and powerful.
Yes, so you want to make them feel validated, not smart and powerful, just validated in their research. So when they start spouting off, and like that's what makes owls so tricky because there's some of them that are like reserved owls, and there's some that are very upfront with it, where they're like, "This is the knowledge I did. This is all the research I did. I think this is the best solution. I think this is the problem because I diagnosed it, sort of." Yeah. And you're like, "Yeah, man, that's absolutely. I think that might be correct. Let me get into this, and I'll let you know if it's right." And then you get into it, and they may be perfectly right, and you have to tell them. If you want to keep them as a customer, you have to tell them, "You were so right, dude. That is exactly what that was. Good job." Right? And if they were wrong, you do not go up and be like, "Bitch, you were fucking wrong." You have to go up and be like, "Dude, honestly, you were so close. You missed it by like 2 steps." I don't care if they fucking missed it by the entire
18
book.
Steps.
Okay? They missed it by 2. Max of 2. Ideally 1, max of 2. Right? And if they thunder. Mix it by the 2 steps. You tell them what 2 it are. Like which 2 they were. They are not going to do the work themselves. I promise you. They are intellectuals. They do not know how to use a screwdriver. If they did, they wouldn't have fucking called you.
But they want to know how.
They want to know how it works. They are very, very inquisitive. They want to understand how the structure works, how it functions, everything else like that. That is what makes them feel safe and secure.
Well, and I'm thinking back to our sheep customer, because that's the type of buyer that I am. If you really started spouting all of your analytic technical knowledge, I would glaze over. I would feel more overwhelmed. Yeah, where like in a sheep relationship, it's about that relationship that we're building together.
It's about making them your best friend.
Well, in an owl relationship, it really is about highlighting that intellectual and technical skill.
Yes, absolutely. Which bulls are the same way. You have to highlight your technical skills, but not overshadow them with it. Like they still need to feel like they're in power, but it's the same idea as like having a bull pull your cart, right? Like it feels like it's powerful and in charge, but you're guiding it where you want it to go. That's the goal with the bull. With the owl, you still want to have that relationship with them, but you need to make sure that they feel not necessarily in charge, but validated in the knowledge that they did.
Yeah.
And like the research that they've done, super important to make sure that that's validated. If you can do that appropriately, which like the majority of the population is sheep.